Alright, out here checking up on this small half-acre food plot. This is the area that we no-tilled the beans right into the standing regrowth of brassicas and weeds. Because last year we had brassicas here and it didn't really hold them that good during the winter. And then when brassicas don't get bit down to the ground, they just get they just sit over winter. They'll grow back in the spring, and that's exactly what happened. They got about waist to chest high, and they were all flowering out. The whole field was just yellow when we broadcasted these beans, and we actually put a little bit of corn in here. This stuff grew, considering it wasn't even pushed into the ground at all. It was just sitting on top of the surface, but I threw a ton of corn in here because I knew it wouldn't grow that good. But the beans, they'll grow if they're just sitting right on top. And then we got this strip along the edge here was brassicas and winter rye. I planted the brassicas like in late August. They didn't get that big, but the winter rye, they're munching on pretty good. There's a few brassicas up there that they munched on pretty good too, but there's a lot of beans left in here. So I'm gonna continue to keep this trail camera here and maybe check back in about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month from now. So I'm sure by then these beans will be starting to get pretty thin, but overall it looks pretty good. I'll check back in about a few weeks. I'll see you then. Well, hopefully you can hear me. It's kind of windy out. It's been about 2 weeks since I've been out here. Back behind me here is the food plot, about a half acre of soybeans. I'll get over there in a second. Looks like there's quite a few left. And right here's some of the nighttime deer beds. 2 beds over there. So right here's a deer bed. 2 more right there. I know from the past, I've always seen deer beds right in this short grass. Even though in the middle of the winter time, these are all nighttime deer beds right next to the food plot. All right, here's another one. There's another one right here. You can tell these have been recently used. I mean, we're supposed to get about 4 to 6 inches of snow tonight, so there's already almost a foot on the ground. I'm just standing on hard packed snow, and there's like 4 inches of fluff on top of the packed snow. I just scraped the snow out there, so that's not from the deer, but there was some deer piss and scratching around there already. I set this camera up here. I'll put up the pictures at the end of the video. There's like 4 main bucks and probably like 4 or 6 does coming over here too. You see that woods way over there on the other side of that white field? That's where I'm thinking they're coming from, because that way is a pretty busy interstate. And there's another woods over that way they could be coming from a little bit too, but I'm pretty sure that's where they're coming from. And that's about a half mile to 3/4 of a mile. And these deer, I got pictures of them just an hour or 2 after dark. Not hardly any pictures during daylight because they're coming from so far away. You can see this is just really minimal bedding. Deer bed here in the fall when it's warmer, but now that it's winter, they got to go to the big woods. But if the food's over here, they're going to come all the way over here to get to the food plot. Like that little willow brush down there just ain't enough cover to keep the deer warm throughout these long, cold winter days. Anyways, I snapped this branch down like this to kind of, I already knew that there was a deer trail here. I could see tracks in the snow, and I could see a deer trail coming from this direction. And they kind of crossed right here. Some of them go that way, others go this way. And that's why I put the camera here on a crisscross trails right to the food plot. And then to entice it even, to make it even better, I snapped this branch down for a licking branch to kind of stop the deer, like literally 2 feet in front of the camera for an awesome picture. And so far it's worked out pretty good. So let's go take a look at the food plot. Now here we are. Definitely, the beans look definitely a little thinner than they did 2 weeks ago when I was out here. You would have seen that earlier in this video. I can definitely tell they're coming from this way because the beans on this side of the plot are definitely thinner than the beans way over there. You can kind of see that there's more brown there than what there is here. These look pretty thin. Yeah, the plot's getting pretty thin. Yeah, we got decent food left, so I'm sure these beans are gonna last at least to mid-February, possibly late February would be nice. Really heavy deer trail going that way too. They could be bedding over there at night too a little bit. But like I said, I don't think anything's bedding here during daytime because with this killer food source. You think we'd be getting some daytime pictures if stuff was bedding here, but pretty much everything's at night. And this is the soybean area that we, this was all brassicas last year, and the deer didn't eat on the brassicas hardly at all during the winter because they were underneath all this really hard crusty snow. With these beans sticking up, it's a way better food source. So since the deer didn't eat the brassicas last year and pull out all the bulbs, the plants had enough energy to regrow. The brassicas actually regrew in the spring. They were about like chest high. We threw the soybeans in here and then we crushed everything down. The brassicas were all yellow and flowering out at that time, and it acted as a great cover crop. This year I got winter rye seeded in underneath these soybeans, so the same thing's going to happen. The winter rye is going to come back. We'll do about 2/3 of the plot into soybeans again, and maybe that side over there, because that's where they bed in the fall. They bed down there. That side will be from here over will be brassicas, but again it'll be all soybeans again here. We might actually extend the plot just a little bit if these beans disappear this winter, because it's nice to have winter food all the way until end of February is really nice. Yeah, looks pretty good. Not insane deer sign, but there's good deer sign here. Not like our backyard where we got like 10 different bucks and like 15 different does, but like I said, there's mainly 4 bucks coming over here and about 5 or 6 does probably. So I'm happy with the results so far. This has been a pretty cool little spot. Hopefully it'd be nice if I could find a shed out here. Look at the size of this tract. It's pretty good size. It'd be cool if I could find a shed out here. I'm gonna upload this video soon, so this might be the last time you guys see this food plot this winter, unless I find a shed out here. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll put up some of the pictures from that trail camera right now. So these first pictures are from way back in middle of December, as you can tell, and like I said, we got about 4 to 5 different bucks coming to and from the plot, and this is the second or third nicest. But anyways, like I said earlier in the video, they're coming from that bigger woods, I suspect, which is, I said in the video, about a half mile to 3/4 mile, but it actually turns out after I measured on my phone, it's about a mile. That's how far they're coming. So that's why there's really not many daylight pictures. This right here is the biggest buck. I had velvet pictures of him this year, a few pictures during rut, and I actually saw this buck while shining almost 2.5 miles from this property. I'm like 90% sure it was him. I remember seeing the swoops because he was like really close to the road too. So it's just crazy how far these deer travel. And you can see the time difference here. Look at how this buck was here at 9 o'clock, and then he was there at like 4 o'clock in the morning. That's crazy. And then the next picture, you can see right here, this is 5:30 the next night. So he's like one of the first deer there probably. These are one of the few only daylight pictures I have. So these deer must have traveled a mile to get here during daylight, which is incredible. But they probably didn't travel a mile in daylight. But like I said, they're coming from a long ways away. That's why it just amazes me how far they're actually coming. You know, in the past couple years, there's been like no deer tracks at all in the wintertime on this property. Now there's actually a decent amount of tracks and deer sign. Look at how goofy that buck is. He's got a spike on one side and like a little fork or 3-pointer on the one side. This right here, this is a brand new buck that just showed up here. This is even nicer than that 8-pointer. This is a huge 10. Kind of similar genetics to that 8, but just actually a hair bigger. And this, look at how this buck's a half rack on his right side, and the next buck half rack on the left side. That's just crazy how similar those bucks look too. I thought that was the same one. And then here's that 10-pointer again. Hopefully he keeps coming around a little more, because I didn't even know about this buck until now. I didn't get any pictures summer or fall. Just shows up in late season on food. It's just amazing. Here's that little 2.5-year-old again. Nice looking buck too. Look at how goofy this thing is. That's just, his tines are all broken off, or they're really short. Just kind of a weird genetic buck. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy these updates, and see you next time.